All right, so I'm getting ready to go out in the yard. We've got a lot of yard work today that we need to get done. We're going to go out and work on the dock area. We had talked about this in another video. So just to get the morning started and super quick, I'm going to make potato pancakes, and they're really easy. So I just wanted to shoot this video. You're going to take some leftover pancakes. I'm going to give you the recipe just verbally. It's 2 cups of potatoes for 1/4 cup of flour. We're using the organic Kirkland's flour. And then 2 eggs. Now you can add salt, pepper. If you want to make this for dinner, you can add, oregano, maybe some fresh rosemary. We're going to do this for breakfast this morning. I would say this is obviously about 3 cups, so I made my proportions for that. I could technically add another egg if I wanted to, which I may go ahead and do that, but I just wanted to give you guys that recipe really quickly. You're just going to stir this all together, and then you're going to get yourself a pan of oil. I'm just using vegetable oil right now. So you're gonna put it on medium to high heat, and you're gonna bring that up like as if you're really gonna fry something, like a true French fry or maybe a piece of fish or something like that. So there it is. I'm gonna get it going, and then I'll show y'all the end results. This is just a really quick, brief potato pancake recipe before I go outside. Alright, so I've gone ahead and mixed it all up. That's what it looks like. These are fresh potatoes that we had used from last night that I had made mashed potatoes with. So you're just going to make your mashed potatoes as you would normally make them. And then these were left over. And so this morning we need to make a Costco run, but we don't have time for that today because, like I said, we're going to be working on the dock. And so I just wanted to go ahead and utilize my leftovers. Because we're going to be eating, we have chicken wings out for today. So I'm taking, I would say you really need 1/4 cup. This is a 1/2 cup. And you're just going to scoop it out after you mix it and then hear it frying. So you're basically making like a hash brown pancake is really what it comes down to. This is not something that we eat a lot of, but sometimes when I'm in a rush, I definitely, and I've got the pancakes, then or the potatoes, then I go ahead and I use that. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go ahead and let them fry until they're like golden brown. I really don't like using the metal spatula. I couldn't find the one that's got the plastic on it, but or the silicone on these pans, but this is what I could find because I kind of want it to drain a little bit, and then I'm gonna move it on to, like, I'm gonna lay some paper towels down and then put it on that so that it drains and gets that oil out of it. I'm just using vegetable oil, so it's no different. Like I said, my fiance, he loves McDonald's, so he could eat a hash brown every day of the week according to him, and that's, not that this is healthy, but at least I know where my potatoes came from and the eggs and the flour, and so it is a little bit of an alternative. And we're gonna have some scrambled eggs. I'm gonna do a Western omelet when I'm done with this, and so we're gonna have some, like a Western omelet. I pulled some vegetables from the garden. Last night I had made arugula with tomatoes, some onions, and some garlic, and it was delicious. That was, instead of a salad, that was a nice alternative to a salad, and I just sauteed that in a pan. And so we had eaten that last night. All right, so you guys can see it's already getting a little bit brown there on the edges, and that is actually what you're looking for. So you don't want your oil to be too hot or too cold or too cool. You want to make sure that it definitely crisps up. I probably could have put another one over there, but for demonstration purposes, this is what we're looking at. So once I start to see that golden brown color, I want to go ahead and gently, that's why I hate using these metal spatulas, because I don't want to scratch the pan. And then I'm going to just flip it over. Alright, and so that's what it looks like. It looks like a nice little hash brown. So, and as soon as it's done, I'll go ahead and I'll transfer it to that paper toweled plate. So that is the recipe for this morning. So hopefully you guys will give it a try. You can eat this, like I said, at breakfast, lunch, dinner, and it's just a really good way to use those leftover mashed potatoes. Now I have heard that people use them with boxed mashed potatoes. I just prefer, and you can get a bag of potatoes fairly cheaply, so I just prefer to use the regular potatoes and organic when possible. So that's what I try to do, so that way I know we're getting the best nutrition. If you can grow potatoes, then even better. So that is the recipe for the day, and I will bring you guys back later and I'll walk you through what we're doing down at the dock. And then this weekend I gotten some wood chips, and I really want to try to get with you guys on showing you how to revamp those beds and cover them for the summer. So that's what's on the agenda for today. Alright, I just want to show you guys that we have some fresh tomatoes still, and I'm making the potato pancakes. What I like to do when I have some fresh tomatoes, for me personally, is I cut up some of these a little bit larger than a cherry tomato, kind of like a Roma tomato, and I squish them in the potato. Be careful because you don't want to get burned. And then I make myself a tomato potato pancake. So I just try to like scoop it over a little bit so that it'll cook the tomato, because I personally like fried green tomatoes. I have some fresh oregano and some rosemary, so to kind of like spice it up a little bit. You can add a little bit of fresh rosemary to it. Thanks to Millie, I have this fresh rosemary. So there you go. And I just squish it in a little bit just to make sure that it's gonna get cooked in there. But that's just a nice little touch to kind of change up your potato pancakes. And as you can see here, that is what they look like. Nice and crispy. So it's better than my fiance heading out to McDonald's and getting himself a hash brown. But to me, that makes a nice alternative for like a vegan dinner or something like that, because it kind of gives it that burgerish type feel. You're getting the tomato, the basil. It's just a really nice alternative to just making a straight potato pancake. So just food for thought, how we kind of change it up. Everybody cooks a little differently, so I thought I would share that with you guys this morning. All right, everyone. So I told you guys that we are getting ready to go work on the dock. I don't know if you can hear, but it actually started to rain. So it must be an isolated shower because it's beautiful and bright, yet the rain is starting to pick up. So I don't know what's going on with that. It really wasn't in the forecast for today, so who knows. So here's a good opportunity for me to talk to you guys about something really quickly. I'm getting ready to take down this bed that's closest to the house. It's got some old tomatoes. It's got the yellow nasturtium that was in it. I've added some compost to it from my little compost bed, and so I went ahead and I've taken all that down and turned it under. And so one of the key things that I use is, because I'm going to take these beds down and I'm going to mulch the top of them, which I will walk you guys through that as soon as it stops raining. But for now, I wanted to show you this emulsion mix that I do. So one of the things is I use yeast in the garden. So I use yeast in the garden. This is a brand new pack. You can see it's still kind of like sealed, like a coffee bag would be. I ordered this online at Amazon. Here's what it is. And so yeast is really important because you can use yeast for decomposition. Yeast can help to break down plant material by producing enzymes, or using products released by other organisms. You can use this in compost tea. So adding yeast to compost tea as a seed soaking treatment can help to control disease and increase the number of pods and seeds. It can also be used in fertilizer. So you can make an organic fertilizer for your plants, especially for tomatoes during the fruiting stage. Yeast fertilizer can help fruit grow juicier and tastier. So I just simply read that. You can literally type in on Google adding yeast to your compost or adding yeast to your garden. What I do is I like to take, I have one of these little watering buckets. I take about 2 tablespoons of yeast and I drop it in there, and I have a little stick and I stir it up and I add that into the soil as I'm downing the bed. I also use about 1/4 cup of this seaweed emulsion. You can get this on Amazon. Sometimes local like feed stores or farm stores might carry it, or plant locations. I've never seen this at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but you might be able to pick it up there. So I just want you guys to see what I have. I've had this for a little while. It does last and it does fairly well. It is a natural kelp. So what I do is I mix it in there and I will dump a whole little bucket into one bed, because what I'm doing is I'm getting that bed prepped for this upcoming year, so for the next growing cycle. So my beds will be down for about the next 2 months because it's the hottest times of the year, and I put mulch over the top of it. And like I said, as soon as it stops raining, I'm going to take you guys out there and show you what that looks like. I also use garden lime. And I sprinkle that over the top and I kind of mix that in so that way in the future my plants do as well as possible. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys that. The other thing that I sometimes add in, and I add this more in, like, so I'll let this rest for about the 2 months. And then I'll still have some tomatoes on some of the other beds and stuff, but I'm getting some of these other beds starting to get prepped for the fall season now. Because I still have my sweet potato bed that I can't get to, and I still have some of the tomatoes going on. I still have potatoes to pull in the regular beds. We'll see how those go, because this is the first year for potatoes. But that back bed, the U-shaped bed, and this bed right up here, the closest to the house, I want to go ahead and add that this emulsion in. And what I also add in is about 1/4 cup when I start to do my new seeds. I will take this same green container and I use 1/4 cup with water and 1 tablespoon of yeast. And when I plant those seedlings, I sprinkle it all over the bed, and I use the black strap molasses, 1/4 cup of black strap molasses, and I add that in because the seeds really like it and it brings good nutrients. So I just wanted to get you guys started on that so that you knew what my mixture was and how I will be utilizing it in these beds as soon as the rain stops. So you always do take a risk though this time of year, kind of making this mix up, because what could end up happening is we could get some heavy storms, we could get tropical storms, and you're kind of washing that through the bed, and so you may have to go back and reapply. But for me, it takes a little bit of time for the lime to kind of set in, and so that's why I want to go ahead and get that started now, knowing that I'll be planting my bok choy, probably some winged beans, stuff like that. And some of the Asian vegetables that I really enjoy over the fall. So we'll go over what that seed structure will look like when I am getting ready for the next season of cycle. But for right now, this is what I call downing my beds. And now you can use yeast. You can use yeast right now if you so choose on your beds. Do your own research, but a lot of people don't talk about that. The pollen is terrible today. A lot of people don't talk about using this yeast, and it's really important that you keep some extra yeast around and that you utilize it. And this is a non-GMO. You can see that it is listed on there that it's non-GMO. And so, you know, keep that in mind as you're growing in some of these bigger raised beds. You need to be adding a good microbiome back into the bed itself. And so that's what I'm saying, when I'm taking down these plants and stuff, I'm bringing them back in. And then I have some leaves that have built up over here in the corner of the house, and so I'm going to be cleaning that area up today, scraping those leaves out, because you want your beds to look similar to that which you would find on the forest floor. So when something is growing out there in the woods and it's growing really well, you're seeing all this natural mulching where limbs and sticks, not large limbs, but you know, some branches, some sticks, and some leaves are actually present in the soil. And I think that's really important. And so that's why I've been actually just straight adding my kitchen compost over to this front bed, especially because it's easily accessible for me. And I'm adding that in right now. So just keep that in mind. Mimic what the forest floor is doing, and you're gonna have a really great year for growing, hopefully. So that is my little talk for today, and I will bring you guys back once the rain stops and we will start working on the beds. All right, so as you guys can see, I've got some old compost in here, some chips, some stuff I just threw out from what I would normally be composting in. Now this stuff definitely encourages ants, so I do have some ant bait that I will put in these beds as soon as we're done. But this is the bed that's closest to the house. So I'm just gonna take up all this like very bitter lettuce, this tomato. I pull the tomatoes off, stick them in the other compost bed. Because otherwise, if you don't take the tomatoes off, what will end up happening is you will get a bunch of tomatoes coming up, which is fine with me, but some old arugula that's going to flower. So see, we're taking the nutrients that was already in the bed and we're turning it over. Oh look, there's a sweet potato. Sweet potato coming up out of the bed here. Alright, so as you can see, this bed is definitely got a lot of good compost material in it for now. Now I could add some perlite. That's what's in this. Horticultural perlite. I'll bring you guys over so you can see it. This is what I like to add into the beds, is a little bit of horticultural perlite. It's a huge, huge, huge box. This box is probably a good 3 feet tall. But you got to be cautious when you're using perlite, because you don't want to breathe that in, because if you breathe that in, what will happen is it will get in your lungs and it'll act like fiberglass. So be very cautious. You should be wearing a mask when you use perlite, especially on a breezy day. You really don't want to do it on a breezy day, but today is my opportunity for doing this project, so we're gonna do it today. So don't do what I do when it comes to this, because I'm not putting a mask on. And I do understand the risk that I'm taking by doing that. Some perlite that's already been in here, because we don't want to leave this stuff just on top, and we want to mix it all up so that we're adding different types of nutrients from the bottom that may have soaked in from the compost and bringing it forward. Oh look at all these rust worms. I know people say these rust worms are really good, but that you shouldn't get rid of them. These things are invasive here. They really are. I usually put them in a box and send them to the fish. That's what I do with them. The fish eat them. And remember, there's still going to be more time for this bed to break down because... Oh, here's some basil that was coming up. See, and that's how it'll reseed itself because there's seeds already in here. And so I'll just put it back in there. I'll rip the seeds off, and I don't mind if basil's throughout my garden. It's not... And that is what I'm gonna actually just lay across the top of it. And so I will bring you guys back as soon as this bed is completed. All right, so this is what the bed looks like right now. It's so hot out here, y'all. It's so hot. This is why it's like breathing. It just rained, so that humidity and that moisture is just coming up, and it makes it like literally like you are breathing in hot air from a hair dryer. It's very difficult to breathe out here. So I'm sorry if I'm panting in the in the video because it is extremely hot. So what you see here is I've put that topsoil down, and I have gone ahead and I've sprinkled in the lime. All right, and I've made the mixture. I'm gonna bring it up to show you guys what I'm now going to pour into the bed. I don't know if you guys can really see it in there, but it's kind of frothy. I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see it. All right, and so what that is that is the yeast mixed in with a little bit of that blackstrap molasses, and I am going to go ahead now and pour it into the bed. Now, I don't recommend, I'm not gonna do it in my U-shaped bed because the sun is beating down on that U-shaped bed. While it seems bright here, the sun is getting ready to come over and shade this bed out because you really want this to kind of sit overnight. You don't want it beaten by the sun. Now, I wanted to show you guys this product here. So go ahead and order this if you guys are growing in a tower or a green stock. This is what I like to mix into my beds when I am doing it. Now, this treats up to 20 plants. This is the brand. You can order this on Amazon or somewhere like that. And basically do your own research, but this is absolutely going to, upon the initial planting of your plants, you want to go ahead and put 1 teaspoon of this per pint into your growing mix, so that way it actually helps to boost your plants and get them to where they need to be. Especially here in Florida, this is a really good product. It's a little bit costly, but if you want your plants to be as successful as they can be, this is my recommendation. Especially if you're doing what I'm doing, where you're kind of reutilizing the bed that you've already got and you want to just kind of amp it back up. So I'm gonna go ahead right now. I'll just drop that to the side, and I'm gonna just start pouring this in. There is no rhyme or specific way, you just pour. And I do my entire bed. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and top dress this with my mulch. And it does take about an entire bag of mulch for one of these. I think this one is a 9-in-1. Although I doubt it. Knowing me, it's probably a 10-in-1 because I always like to think that I'm getting more. and I heavily mulch this because I'm putting this bed to rest until my next growing season. All right, and just so you are aware, I will continue throughout this resting time, this period of rest. I will still continue to water these beds even though they are mulched over, because I want to make sure that the moisture stays in the bed. And by the time the next season of growing begins, honestly, this mulch will start to have already started breaking down. It will be super delicious and moist underneath there. Hopefully I will have some more beautiful growth. And as you guys saw, I did have some ants, and I do have an ant treatment. Let me see if it's available, and I will show you guys what that ant treatment is. All right, so this is the ant treatment that I use. It's a liquid bait. Basically, you just have a little circle top. You clip it into basically a casing, which looks like this. You're just gonna take that. I don't know if I actually have any in here, but they're probably in the bottom. But we could do one now. So here's what the poison looks like. I just go ahead. You want to put your stakes in. It comes with these 2 little stakes. So I just go ahead and pop those in like that. And I just push this down. You got to fit it in the little holder. You pinch it down, then you stake it in. And there you have it. So that is easy peasy to keep the ants out of the bed without you necessarily having to put poison all over the bed. If you need to do more than one, then obviously do one on this end and one on that end. Sometimes that's what actually needs to happen, is you need to put 2 in the actual bed itself. So that's what downing the bed actually looks like. When I say that I'm taking down these beds, this is a process that I do every time. So this is where, to me, not only is your initial investment going to be very costly, it depends. If you've got access to good compost, it won't be. If you've got, resources to mulch, it doesn't have to be. And here's where the other thing is I told y'all that I have some leaves. This bed had enough, I said, is fair compost for me that I didn't need to grab those leaves. But I've got this other bed over in the back that doesn't have a lot of compost. It's a pretty dead bed at this point. We can go look at it real quick. All right, so you can see this bed is basically done for the season. I've got, a little bit of tomato. There's some ginger over there growing. But this bed is basically done. So I am just gonna go ahead and get that old dill out. That didn't really do too much. Obviously, I've got some other plants in here that are gonna be kept. That's a freedom blackberry. And then I have a mulberry over there. And so I'm gonna be doing the same process over here. There's some potatoes still in the bed. I will definitely not dig up and turn over in those areas, but I will kind of skirt around it and go around this large bed. And I will continue the process of downing these beds. So that's where this expense kind of comes in, but I know where my food is coming from and I know how it's been handled and addressed. So like I said, if you know somebody that has mulch, or somebody who you have access to some of these other products like topsoil, this is where it gets easy. Or if you have farm animals, then you can obviously utilize the farm animals and get their manure. You don't have to buy black cow or anything like that. So this bed is going to require some black cow because I don't have enough material to implement back in the bed. And then I'm also going to take those leaves and I'm going to put those leaves in the bed as well. So we're always fighting something, fighting time, fighting who knows? Right now the rain clouds are coming in. I don't know if you guys can see it. They're coming back around, so we've got some dark rain over that way. I knew that it could happen maybe this afternoon, but I didn't expect it this early. But like I said, on days like this is just a working day. We are sweating. It's super hot out here. So this is not a glamour show this time of the year. This is just doing what we need to do to get these beds prepped. This will be definitely one of my fall beds. Like I said, this is where I like to put in all my like my cabbages, my Asian greens, all that stuff. So I am excited to get these beds ready. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this tomato. It's still putting on. I know most people would pull it out, but I'll pull it out at the last minute. I'm not worried about that. And I'll go ahead and get this stuff all set up. And what you just saw me do in the front bed next to the house, that's what I'm gonna continue back here. So, and this bed also over here needs to come down. That's what I'm saying. So this will take me a couple of hours today to get this all cleaned up as well. And then I have that bed over there in the corner, the very corner over there where you can see the bags of mulch. That is a sweet potato bed. Half of it has sweet potatoes, but the other half has a really dead tomato in it, and that is my third bed for today. And or fourth bed. So I see, you can see all the dead foliage. I've got to get that cleaned out. So that is the non-glamorous side of what we do here in Growing Zone 9B in order to keep you guys happy and myself happy and showing you what a beautiful garden is. And that's your expense right there. And we've got topsoil over there in the back corner, and so that is what we were working on. I got some black cows shoved over there, and that's what I'm saying. I got to drag all this stuff around and just get it going. The sweet potato bed is out of control. You can see it's flowing into the grass over here. There's some regular potatoes in it, and then some volunteer tomatoes are in the back. So I'm letting the tomatoes do their thing. And then awesomely, I have some papayas that have shot up on their own, where I had a squirrel, or I think I actually threw this one out here. A squirrel had gotten into it, and then I threw it out here. So I'm gonna leave this bed wild and crazy as it is, and then I will clean it up when we get closer to the fall season. So that is it for now, y'all. So that is the story on how I down these beds. Hopefully you guys learned something today. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I won't be as sweaty and nasty as I am now, but this is real life, real gardening. This is not a glamour show. This is hard work. So appreciate and love your farmers for doing what they do. Support your local farm stands if you see them and they are actually growing and they're pulling it right out of their yard. Know the love that goes into that. Know that when you're buying that $15 organic watermelon, that you are from them, that you are really supporting this labor of love, because that's what this is. And you know, if you're buying it from the store, also be grateful, and just know that a trucker brought you that. So that wasn't some person in a car, that was a trucker. So love on those people that are loving you and taking care of you every single day. Give them courtesy on the road. I know someone who's a trucker, and you know, so just be kind to people that are out there, because they don't deserve any ill will or negative treatment. So all right, everyone, until next time, love one another, be kind, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, so we have been downing these beds that I've been telling you about, and ooh, look at all that. It's just abundance. This is fennel that I have taken out of the bed, and so it's hot out here. It's super hot. I literally have sweat pouring off me right now. Probably have dirt all over my face. But this is the fennel. It's the bronze fennel. This actually came from Baker's Creek. This is the best. If you want to grow some fennel, the bronzed fennel is the absolute best one that I can recommend for our area based on humidity and temperature. And so I am actually going to be once again using the dehydrator, because there's no way that I could use all this fennel, you know, here in a short period of time without it getting nasty. And so when cleaning up the beds, so that's what will be going into the machine next to dehydrate. So we will have this for soups for the fall, and that bed is now down. So we are on bed 4. I'm on bed 4. My fiance is down there putting in the steps to the dock. So this is a busy day, and that's what I'm saying. Not everything is beautiful and pretty. Sometimes it's a lot of labor, a lot of work. sweating to death, looking like you jumped in the swimming pool down here because you're sweating so bad. So, all right, I will put this in, and if I got more stuff to show you guys, I will come back and bring it back to the video and show you guys.